Morty's Diner. Hot coffee without the toxic sludge.
Well, hey there. Hello to the audience for a very late at night show at Morty's Diner channel. Okay, let's get some music on in the background. There we go, that's pretty good. All right, oh, good evening or good morning. One, hello, One, how are you doing? Good to see you. So, I was asleep. I just woke up a while ago. I'm pushing the coffee and starting a new day. Yesterday was pretty good. I expect today to be much worse than yesterday, but that's what I think every day. All right, enough of that, maudlin, depressing, pessimistic talk. Enough of that. Let's talk about something positive and uplifting. I don't know what that would be, but it's a nice idea. All right, I have absolutely no content for tonight's show, and the no content shows usually turn out to be pretty good. So I'm just going to hang around, see if anybody stops by, besides one who's, when you see it, who's in the audience. Outside of that, just hang around. If anybody would like to ask any questions, post any comments, come on the panel, whatever, any and all like that, that'll be fine. I'll be here drinking coffee and thinking about what I'll accomplish today. All right, time to kick back in my chair and think. I guess the big thing going on those other channels is the Watch Reporter, Watch Nicholas story. Pretty, one could say, well, that's pretty incredible stuff. But, I think it's par for the course with what goes on out there. And, nothing you can say about it, We're just going to watch and see how it develops, and or not at all, whichever, whatever. I'll tell you what, I did hear some really eyebrow raising comments on the Bob and Jack show, or the Jackson Bob show. Not tonight, I didn't see tonight, but the night before. So, a full whole day ago. And I'm not gonna comment on it tonight, but it was it's like, wow, interesting. It was very funny to listen to, but in not in a usual funny way. Not really funny. It was not eye opening. It was like amusing. Yeah, very interesting. Maybe in the future I'll back to that, but not important. I'll tell you something I've been working on is I've been going through the clips, the clip material, the files, the archives. Well, not files. Yeah, I guess files. The archives. There is so much stuff I'm putting together. I have to go through thousands. Well, I have to. I'm going through thousands of hours of material to handpick, curate a collection, a collage of upcoming content that will just be so great. It's taking time, but it's fatiguing, exhausting. It's difficult listening to thousands of hours of mental asylum insanity. It's very difficult. I have to remain, mentally well, mentally healthy, and psychologically balanced to go through it all and put it together. But the end results will be worth it, and that's a promise. Yeah, just here, waking up, having coffee, thinking about breakfast in an hour or two, planning out the day. Available for chat, questions, comments, guests. I didn't watch President Trump's State of the Union speech. I just saw a quick clip of it, a couple of minutes of a clip. I'll watch it, the full thing later on today or the day. Yeah, no rush. I'll catch the whole thing soon enough. I think this is turning out to be one of my best ever shows. This is really good. I'm going to have to replay this later for myself. I mean, this is really good. Well, I am so relaxed. I mean, I don't know about you people, but I am really in a deep state of relaxation. I guess the audience tonight is basically just lurkers, except for one, you, who said hello when I started. I mean, there's 6, 7, or 8 people out there, coming and going and just checking out the non-content. And they probably click on the channel, watch it for a few seconds, and go, oh, more of this shit. I see. Okay, I'll leave. And somebody else shows up and go, what's going on here? They watch for 10 or 20 seconds and they go, oh, this is the usual bullshit. And then they leave. So, but they don't know what they're missing. I mean, their blood pressure, they're the ones with blood pressure of, 180 over 130. Here we're usually 110 over 70. Relaxed, healthy, at peace, tranquil, sedate, drugged up. Nice. Hey, hello. We have to the 15 viewers. Thanks for checking out Morty's Diner channel. Absolutely no content happening right now. I'm very relaxed. Just kick back in my chair and listening to that music. Everyone is welcome. All are welcome to post a comment, a question. Join the panel if they'd like to talk, if you'd like to talk. Otherwise, I'm just here with my coffee, and I'll have breakfast in about an hour. I got up very early today, as is obvious. Hello, Blaine. How are you? Yeah, I'm still in the waking up. It's a 3:45, Wednesday morning here. Just absolutely relaxing, meditating, having some coffee, and you know. Tecate. I don't think I've ever had a tecate. But, yeah, maybe I have. Maybe, I don't know. I've got 4 or 5 beers in my fridge. They're all German, 2 or 3 different German beers, I think. But maybe 4 or 5. 4 or 5 bottles or cans, yeah. But I'm not going to have that for breakfast. At least not this morning, not today, yeah. Maybe tomorrow. Do you ever listen to your shortwave radio? Well, I don't have a shortwave radio. I have one of those, very small emergency radios, in case of a power failure or, Battle of Portland, World War III kind of thing, which has a couple shortwave bands on it, I think. This month was a particularly long EAM, emergency action message. Really? Wow, how about that? Yeah, no, the emergency room, the emergency radio is with all the prepper supplies. And it's a nice little radio. It's maybe $29 or $39. And you can plug it in, or it works on 2 or 4 AA batteries, I think, or AAA. And it's got a hand crank on it, which is not really going to be that useful. I mean, probably have to crank it for hours to get any playtime. AM, FM, weather, and a couple shortwave bands. And it has a light on it, too. So those are really important things people should have, whether it's a cheap one or, one that's more expensive. Boy, it's so nice right now. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and everything here on this channel is so quiet and peaceful. I feel so relaxed and serene, tranquil, and kind of positive. It's almost at right now, at this moment, it's hard to believe that in just a handful of hours coming up, other people will be on their YouTube channels screaming, yelling, accusing, insulting, defaming, defiling, degrading, destroying each other, making things up, lying, arguing, fighting. For what? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Blaine Cole, channel member. At your age, I'm surprised you're still an early riser. Well, I'm not an early riser. I usually wake up around 3 in the afternoon. Now, I said that because I know one or two people out there are going, does he really wake up at 3 in the afternoon? No, but today I fell asleep early. I was so tired from a hard day's work. And I got up, well, I guess what? 2:30, around then, I don't know. And yeah, but usually I don't wake up at this time at all. They all missed out on a career in politics. Always room for a few more haters and sociopaths. Well, that's absolutely correct. You know, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah. But in a way, they're doing their political career on YouTube, you know? Lying, cheating, grifting, destroying. So, yeah. But anyway, I really find it an effort to even mention those things. In such a place of peace. And, well, yeah, serenity. I don't even have the strength or the energy to click my mouse to play a video. That's a good thing. I mean, a nice, friendly video. But at least that's, yeah, yes, exactly. I watched a video earlier some guy, a Vietnamese guy who's a lawyer in Vietnam, and he was talking about things you may not know about living in Vietnam if you're planning to relocate here for retirement or business, or you just want to move here for enjoyment. And one of the points that he covered, and I did not know this, one of the things he mentioned was it's quite common, or it's certainly not uncommon, around Vietnam to see public urinating. And he said usually by men. Public urinating by women is kind of not that common, but you might find it around. You might see it. And he explained why. Not that many places that have, publicly accessible bathrooms. And old style or old country style custom of just taking a leak when you're out there, far from your bathroom. And I saw that only one time in Japan. I was in a Blaine, you never saw that in Japan? I see it down south all the time. Really? Yeah. I only saw it one time in Japan, a guy actually taking a leak in the street. And I got to look up the name of the city because I don't remember. It was a coastal city in Fukushima Prefecture. Right on the coast, the Pacific coast. And I always get the name mixed up with other similar sounding cities. Let me see. What are the cities there in Fukushima Prefecture? Let me see. Is there a list of cities here? Iwaki, was that it? Maybe. Let me look. I mean, it's not important, but Iwaki, that's it. Yeah, you're right. Iwaki. And it was right on the coast area. Very small city. Very, very quiet place. And I was walking along the main street areas in there, mid-city. And I was at I remember I was on the way to, or had just left, the coffee shop that, a chain of coffee shops that I liked in Japan called Dotor. I think it was DOUTOR''S, Dotor coffee. Really nice. And they had good food there, sandwiches or, snacks. And they had one there, so I was probably walking to it. And some guy was on the sidewalk just taking a leak. Very old guy, like 75, 80, And people walked around. No one even looked at him or said anything. And so, yeah. But that's the only time I ever saw that. Oh, hey, Floodland. Blaine, was that Marcello, the one time you saw someone? Yeah, good comment. Right on. Yeah. Now, here in Portland, which has now been so destroyed, I just saw a video on somebody's Instagram page who talks about Portland and stuff, and very good page on this guy has. And there are people just defecating now. You know, those homeless, vagrant, drug addicts, Antifa types. They're just defecating on the sidewalks now, and they climb on top of public water fountains that are primarily decorative sculptures, but they are, functional water fountains. And they just stretch on top of them and they defecate into the water fountain. So now it's here in America, that kind of, well, in the liberal-controlled shithole cities. Yes, good comment. But, I mean, if a citizen walked over to the derelict who was defecating into a public water fountain and said, "What the hell are you doing?" and started complaining to him, a Portland police officer would probably come and arrest you for, what would they charge you with? Psychologically abusing a homeless person. Or some charge, I don't know. Creating a public disturbance. Yeah, they would charge you with that. Interfering with another Portlander defecating while he's defecating in a public water fountain. And if you complain about that, you'd be arrested for creating a public disturbance. Yeah, amazing. And then as you're being handcuffed and put into the police car, the policeman would say to the derelict freak, "You okay? Everything okay? Everything okay? Everything okay, buddy? Okay, take it easy." And then, no joke, no kidding. That's how it would go. Somebody's actually backstage. That's amazing. And it says device not connected. And I don't know who it is at all. So, there's a private chat. Oh, it's him. Yeah, how about that? He's up early. It's that one of those sick individuals out there. You know what I mean. Very, very sick person. But he's not going to disrupt my peaceful, serene morning, my relaxation. Nah. Pretty sad. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to. Absolutely correct. That's the Democrats. Yeah. I mean, I won't tell you who. There's no need to tell you who it was backstage, but it was look, it was pretty pathetic. Okay, enough of that. Blaine, they outlawed subliminal advertising, although Columbo used it to catch a murderer. That's one of my most favorite episodes. That's the one with Robert Culp and with the subliminal editing, subliminal cuts. And there's some great scenes between Peter Falk and Robert Culp in that episode. Really great. Really, oh man, just a great episode. That's probably one of my top three. Certainly it's a top 5 episode, I think. Certainly for me, yeah. In that episode, Robert Culp, who, he was the killer, he hid for his 45 1911 pistol, he used a caliber converter, and he hid it in his office lamp. And that was the only piece of evidence, which was the perfect piece of evidence that Columbo had on him. And if he had, when the office was closing and he went home, if he had taken that with him the next day and just thrown it out, into the ocean, or, just into some dumpster somewhere downtown, he wouldn't have been caught. Columbo would not have gotten him. Yeah, incredible. Or he might have gotten them, but that was the key piece of evidence. Sherlock Holmes' description of the perfect crime. I don't recall what that might have been. But I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. But I don't recall what he may have said as a description. Let's see if I can find that. To paraphrase, a crime, the commission of which is known only to the perpetrator. Right. Can't disagree with that. Well, maybe someone can, but it does make sense. Yeah. Using that definition, many people have committed the perfect crime. Yeah. Police never know about it, and they get away with it many times. Like Obama, for example. Many people. Well, and actually, in Obama's case, many people do know about the crimes, but nothing seems to be done to make him accountable to the law. Good morning, Aaron. How are you? Sparta had the right idea when it came to their kings. Can you elaborate on that, please? Okay, a dual monarchy, separation of powers, and they were subject to the law. Ah, interesting. Okay. So they were even more subject to the law than someone like, say, Obama. I see. Well, mm-hmm. The Spartan kings could be prosecuted, fined, or banished. Yeah, that's what we need in this country, banishment to a faraway island, you know, or Gitmo. That would be good. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be Devil's Island conditions, but just complete, total banishment. And we've just finished 1 hour and 17 minutes of tonight's show. This is probably the best show I've ever done. It's great. I might have to put this one as members only when the show ends, because when the word gets out, people will want to pay to join up to watch this episode. I mean, it's fantastic. Hey, wow, look who's here. Aussie Expat. Hey, how you doing, Aussie? How about the Magna Carta? Does the English government even know what that is anymore? And how about that Magna Carta? Yeah. Mm. I wish I could visit England because there's still a copy of that uh, original that exists. It's in the British Museum. Maybe more than one copy. That there might be more than one copy still available, but they do have one of the original copies at the British Museum. Aaron, here's the thing, Morty. If I go to Australia for my 27th birthday, I might practice my Australian accent and take some surfing lessons. That's fantastic. But watch out for the sharks. If there's any sharks, stay out of the water. Aussie, what are you doing up so early? Oh, actually, no. It's early where you are, but maybe it's waking up time there. Aussie, I saw a video today on YouTube, an episode by Masad Ayub, who, I've been following him for, well, on and off. I've read his stuff and videos for like 30 years. I mean, he is one of the real sensible, knowledgeable people out there. And he did a video all about, I don't remember the title. It's like about something about the Glock 19. Why is it so acclaimed? And he went through the whole presentation on the Glock 19. And again, I've never held a Glock, even in a store. I don't think I've ever picked one up or even I never fired one. But so at the end of the video, he said something like, the Glock 19, everybody should have one. For all the reasons that he discussed, in the video. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, it's not a case of course, need. I mean, I'm supplied. I'm well supplied, or sufficiently supplied. But when I heard him say that, everyone needs one, or everyone should have one, I thought, gee, maybe I should get one, just because he kind of like said what he said. So I looked up Bud's guns just to see what's available. They have a lot of, at Bud's, they have a lot of Glock 19s and 43Xs that come in all 43X, yeah. They come in all kinds of an amazing variety of finishes, colors, grips, yeah. And they're Glock. They're not aftermarket, modifications. And I think a Glock 19 goes for about $500, give or take. And then you maybe a little less. And then if you get them with fancier customization features, they can even get up to 700 or so. But so I thought, well, 500, plus or minus. Should I put one on my credit card and then spend the next 2 years paying it off just to have one? And I thought, well, Let me look this up real fast. Let me get the calculator here. Let's say I just get the basic Glock 19 Gen 5. Okay. 500 divided by 12 monthly payments, $41 a month. This is without interest. That's too much. I can't afford that. So how about 500 divided by 24 monthly payments? That's $20 a month for 24 months. And I could certainly squeak out an extra $20 a month to get a Glock 19. And then if I got one with one of the fancier finishes, let's say it was 650 divided by 24 months, $27 a month, plus there's going to be interest on that. It's too expensive. But the one for $20 a month, But, and then really, should I get the 19 or the 43X or any one of those other models? I don't remember all the model numbers. But they have 9s that have a little bit longer barrel, a little bit different grip, a little bit different capacity. But he was saying when you put it all together, the 19 is the one everyone should have. So already, so I shouldn't think about the other models. It's just get a 19. So, it's food for thought. But it's certainly not a priority. Maybe it should be. I don't know, but it isn't. Hello, Gilden. Hello. Hey, Aussie, backstage. Okay. I like James Yeager's quote, all guns should be Glocks, all Glocks should be 9mm, and all Glock 9mm should be 19s. Holy cow. And then you said, this being said, lots of guns now are effectively Glock 19s, like an M&P 2.0 compact, Walter PDP, SIG 320. Yes, you make a very good point. Hello, Aussie, good morning.
G'day, Morty. Yeah,
let me
up early.
turn off that music. 1 second. 1 second, please. I'll put it very, very low. Yeah, that's one hell of a quote there.
Yeah, I think at the time he said it, this is like 20 years ago. And I think it's very true. And then over time, he eventually went with the M&P 2.0 compact, I think around, I want to say the 2018, something like that.
Right.
And so, to clarify, he wasn't saying, get a Glock brand, Glock 19. Ultimately, it's that his statement was functional. It wasn't fanboyism. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's functional. And there's a lot of guns that are basically Glock 19s.
You're absolutely
and honestly,
right.
Glock's reliability hasn't been that great compared to its competitors in recent years, in my opinion. I've seen plenty of Glocks that don't work. Plenty of Glocks that do work. I mean, they're close to being a Toyota of the gun world, but I've also seen, Glocks that don't work. So I don't think they have like a chokehold on being the only reliable gun.
Chokehold, that's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a light, reliable 9mm in a good form factor.
Right.
It is hard to argue against.
So when I was looking at the Buds Guns website, I saw they now have a Gen 6 showing
Gen
up.
6 is a lot better.
And they had one of them already available. Do you know what the difference is?
Yeah, it's huge. For me, it's huge because honestly, a stock Glock, I can't shoot. I just cannot shoot it. I've got long fingers and then a pretty good amount of webbing between my thumb and forefinger, and I need a beaver tail. Like Glocks have like this, very compact beaver tail. Some people don't like a beaver tail. I need one, otherwise it just chews me up. So even an M&P 2.0, that chews me up as well. So the only gun that really has a solid beaver tail that's American, that's my criteria as well, So I haven't even looked at a Walther PDP or a Canik. Those are great guns, superb guns. But
Canic, you
I
really
just
think you would go with if you would consider carrying a Canic?
100%. Yeah,
Really?
100%. Canics are good.
Wow.
But I just need a solid beaver tail,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just the only gun that does that is SIG P320, and yeah, also the original M&Ps. So I've got, Gen 1 M&Ps as well as M&P 2.0s. I prefer the Gen 1 actually.
Yeah, when those came out, I remember I didn't like the grip. It wasn't just. It was very rough on my hand. I mean,
I
very
like the
rough.
grip texture on the M, but I
Yeah.
can understand
They
that
changed it. The
logic.
2.0 is an excellent grip texture. That's the word I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how does the
But
6 differ from the 5?
so they addressed all the things. Oh, also the trigger guard is very thick on all of the Glocks and right up until the Gen 6. So underneath the trigger guard where your finger goes, it's just so thick that I get what's called Glock knuckle, and it's just this overwhelming hot spot on your second finger where it's
Right.
right up against the trigger guard. It's very uncomfortable. So they've addressed that, but these are things people have always done. So, well, I preface that people have always taken a Dremel and just sort of filed away at the trigger guard of a Glock to make it good. But I don't want a gun that I need to
Right.
pay
So the
more
6
money for and modify
Yeah, yeah.
immediately.
So the trigger guard on the 6 is reduced in size
Yeah.
and width. Yeah.
They put in a factory undercut is what the aftermarket term would be. So they got the undercut, they thinned it out, they put a little bit of a ledge, they added a bit of a palm swell to the grip. The texture has been improved a bit. They've put a pretty solid beaver tail on it now. And they also have an optics mount. Oh, that was another requirement of mine. Direct mount optic, as in the optic goes onto
Right.
the slide, not onto
A plate or something.
a plate
Yeah.
and then added to the slide. I've seen so many of those fail in competition. Like I just will not do a gun that doesn't do direct mount. And so the Gen 6, they got rid of their stupid MOS system and they have a brand new system where it's direct mount. So they fixed all of the things that I ruled Glocks out just completely, like lack of beaver tail, lack of direct mount optic, and the Glock knuckle. They removed all of the things that I just ruled it out for me, and they made it good. So if I was starting from scratch today, I would deeply consider a Glock. The one thing I'm a little bit still iffy about, but it isn't a killer, is plastic magazines. Now, it's not from a perspective that I don't think the magazines are unreliable. They are reliable. The issue is when you eject a plastic magazine, they tend to stick. If the gun is plastic, it's plastic on plastic, it tends to stick. And you see people in very good competition shooters or very good shooters in general, and they do this thing called the Glock waggle, and it's where they have to wiggle the gun to get the magazine to come out because it won't come out.
It won't just eject, completely
Yeah.
eject. Wow.
Yeah, most people don't understand the situation because most people have like a loaded magazine, they eject it falls out, but a loaded magazine weighs like 20 ounces, right? But a completely unloaded Glock magazine is like 2 ounces and it doesn't come out of the gun.
Really? Okay. What do you
Unless
mean
it's, like,
plastic?
perfect.
What do you mean plastic magazine? Because they're made of steel.
No, Glock magazines are plastic. Plastic.
I mean, a
fantastic.
polymer kind of thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. They're good. They're good. I mean, the most important thing about a magazine is that it's reliable. So they're in the upper echelon of magazines, in my opinion. However, it would still be better if they were metal. Is
Right.
ultimately like, would they be better? Yeah, they would be better.
So if
And
just,
there's been a few
yeah.
aftermarket metal options. Metgar now make a
Metgar,
new
right?
metal Glock magazine, but I've heard in an actual Glock brand Glock, not reliable. Like they're reliable in the, I think it's the Staccato HD or Platypus or something. Like they were designed for a 2011 gun that happened to take Glock mags, is what the Metgars are for.
So if I were to, and I'm not going to, but if I were, if I watched that video again and I felt like he persuaded me to do it because everyone should have one. Would it be a mistake if I bought the Gen 5 instead of the 6, brand new?
I think it would be.
Really?
I think it would be a mistake. Yeah, because there's so much value added to the Gen 6 over the Gen 5. I have no reason why. And also, the Gen 5 is discontinued. The prices for those will be going up.
Still available, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, the Gen 6 is brand new, so the prices are a little bit, solid on the MSRP. But
all right, next time I'm at a shop, I will take a look at the Glocks because I never even looked at them. You know why? The primary reason, besides being a striker fire, is maybe you can answer. Why do none of the Glocks have a thumb safety? Or
They've simply
even a
never
grip
done it.
safety? Any idea why?
They've never, ever done it. It's
Yeah,
that
why
simple.
not? I mean, apparently they don't need it. People want the Glock pistol, and they sell all they can produce, probably. But many brands on their
I mean,
striker fire.
it requires safe gun handling, basically.
That's it. Yeah.
And a good quality holster,
Right. Well, many guns that have interested me don't have a thumb safety or a grip safety, and what you said is absolutely correct. I mean, if your mind is locked in on the right thing to do and it's in a good holster, I mean, there's no issue.
Yeah, I mean, people also have to recognize that the 3 or 4 rules of gun safety haven't existed forever. Keeping your finger out of the trigger guard and not pointing it. That these rules weren't set in stone or as religiously followed in the past.
Yeah,
So-
like the rules Alec Baldwin never followed.
Right, exactly. So those rules didn't always exist, and there are guns where in the past it was considered safe, like part of usual, handling, to put your finger on the trigger, specifically revolvers. Like it was normal to put your finger on the trigger and let down the hammer and stuff like that.
Right.
And there is still gun handling that involves using the trigger, like on a CZ Shadow or something like that. But in general, like the Glock was designed around, effectively modern, safe gun handling, which would in safe gun handling would make an external safety irrelevant, because I mean, what if you're not pulling the trigger? What would the safety do?
Well, my thought is just as alert mentally as I might be, just the thought in my mind of just by accident the trigger gets jarred by something, and that's enough to. I don't know what what kind of pound trigger does a
Pull
Glock?
weight.
19 have?
Glocks tend
Like
to
a 5
be
pound
in
or
the
more?
5 pounds plus. Like I'd
Yeah,
say
you see, like a
probably
double
closer to
action
6
revolver,
and
you're talking
7.
10, 12 pound, or some pistols, in fact, like a CZ is like 10, 12 pounds, and
I think SIG sort of got themselves in trouble with the P320 because the trigger weight tends to be closer to 4, and it's a very clean trigger, at least compared to a Glock, and people have been shooting themselves. Yes, due to unsafe gun handling, but it's a very unforgiving platform because it has such a light trigger pull, and if you're not 100% with your gun handling, it could be an issue.
yeah, like the Beretta 92G doesn't have the thumb safety. It has
Doesn't it have a good
doesn't have
decocker
safety,
and-
right? Yeah. So, but the first round trigger pull is like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
10 or 12. So that's the safety, and I'm fine with that. But when it's a 4 or 5 pound trigger pull and no grip or thumb safety, I'm just not. I overthink it to the point where I just no. Now, like the Hellcat, they introduced that without thumb safety, and then they introduced select models with a thumb safety. You know, and
I think some people just feel safer with it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can, but it's also it's a little tricky because it's sort of an admission that your gun handling isn't solid.
Mhm.
So
But even an expert, I mean, even an expert could, by the most minor mistake, make a mistake. I mean, even the XD series, they have that, very small grip safety, which, it'll work once you just get a good grip on the gun, and that's fine
yeah,
for me too. But it's just not trigger safety only, which doesn't work for
yeah.
me.
I think it's very hard to come down and say what systems work and what systems don't because, like, for example, you can point your car at a person and
Right.
there's absolutely no safety mechanism, at least in any car that I've ever seen, including modern ones with
Right.
certain detection systems. There's no car that I've ever seen that there's like some sort of safety mechanism at all related to pointing your car at a person.
That's right.
And it's certainly very deadly. You know what
Sure.
I mean? To me, if you draw
That's
a
a very good
parallel,
analogy.
like
Very good.
pointing a gun at a person is the same as pointing a car because they're both
Mm-hmm.
in that condition. They're one step away from killing that person.
That's right.
Well,
you just
actually, even in a car, you just have to take your foot off the gas. They're sort of like half a step away from killing a person.
Yeah, you just
I mean,
reminded me
not
of,
off the gas, off the brake. Like they'll just immediately start rolling forward.
you just reminded me of something from 30 or 40 years ago. This exact same situation. I was in Burbank, right across the street from Warner Brothers Studios, and I think the corner was Burbank Boulevard at Hollywood Way. That might have been the corner. There's a Taco Bell on the corner there. Anyway, so I was in the car at the red light, just waiting for the light to change. And on the sidewalk, waiting to cross the street, was Tony Randall. And he was waiting to cross the street, I guess to go to Warner Brothers for some reason, to the studio. So when I was sitting there thinking, oh, hey, that's Tony Randall. And I thought, when he crosses the street, I could run him over. And I would be on the front page of every newspaper on the planet and all over Entertainment Tonight, and
Right.
all I have to do is step on the gas pedal. Of course, I
Yeah.
didn't do that because I'm not insane. But
Yeah. I mean, I mean,
yeah,
in handling guns, you end up in a situation with cars that you realize that there's some fundamental things that we do with cars constantly that are literally not safe.
sure. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, there are
but
many. There are numerous cases of somebody backing out of their driveway and running over a child on a tricycle or that kind of thing.
right, 100%. And
Yeah.
like I think that, for example, like if you can step out of the vehicle while the car is still in drive.
Correct.
I've done it a couple of times.
Oh, really?
I
Wow.
mean, like, as in, I go to park, and then I haven't put the shifter into park, and it's only after I feel it move a little bit. I was like, oh shit, I did the sequence wrong. You know what I mean? And I can leave the car, and it would have
Wow.
it would
I've
roll
never
off or
happened.
something.
I don't think that's ever happened where I've done that, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, but I mean that's a mistake I've definitely made.
Yeah.
Where I thought I was in the right thing, but I I could take my foot off the brake, and then I'm like, oh, No, it's not correct.
You weren't driving Watch Reporter's Bentley when this happened, were you?
Yeah.
By the way, on
So
his most recent video on Watch Reporter's channel, or the Honest Watch channel, whichever one he posted it on, he showed himself walking in a parking lot to get to his car. So you could see his car, well, he was showing it. You could see his Bentley four-door sedan. And then he got inside and you could see the dashboard and him starting it up. And wow, it looked really comfortable and luxurious, solid, heavy. Looked like a really heavy weight.
well, especially
in
the
pounds,
generation
heavy car.
that he's got. I think he's got an older one.
Yes, like
which
20 or
I think
15
was
years
like
old.
genuinely luxury. It was genuinely
Very heavy
very nice.
car, not like a little Civic. I mean, very heavy.
The Bentleys I see going around now, the new ones look fucking awful. They look no
I don't
different
like the
than any
styling at all.
Chinese garbage.
I don't like the styling of them, but
They look horrible. Yeah.
yeah. Mainly,
But yeah, so I mean, turning the car off with it still in gear
yeah,
shouldn't even be possible, in my opinion.
you're right. That makes sense.
Like it doesn't make any sense that it's still in drive. You turn it off, and then additionally can leave the car. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like why should the car even have? And people have been killed by that.
Mm-hmm.
The car they've turned off the car, but it's still in drive or reverse.
I've never even thought of this. Can you turn it off and drive? I don't know. I guess you can.
Yeah. Just you turn it off and it can roll forward. Now there's going to be some resistance from the engine, but it will roll. Like depending on if it's on a hill, it's not going to prevent it from rolling. So people have died. Like there was the Russian actor on Star Trek who was killed in his driveway by his Jeep, I think, that did this.
From the original Star Trek?
No, the J.J.
Later
Abrams.
on. Okay, yeah.
But for sure, lots of people have been killed by cars rolling when there's no driver in the seat. And
Well, that happens often on the police body cam videos where they're in pursuit and the
Yeah, they
guy
get
finally
out and the
has
car
to
starts
stop and he's
rolling.
stuck and he jumps out of the car and the car keeps rolling, and crashes
Now,
into
that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, there should be a dead man switch in the car. Like, if there's no driver, why is the car going? That doesn't make any sense. And it sounds like, oh, that sounds complicated. Like, I was like, no, it's not.
They need
how
to
many
hire
times?
a guy like you to figure out the engineering on that.
Well, everything's already there, Morty. I mean, look, does your car beep at you when you haven't put your seatbelt on?
That's right, yeah.
Does it beep at your passengers when they haven't put their
That's
seatbelt
right,
on?
right.
They already have detection of whether or not someone's sitting in that seat. So if nobody's sitting in the driver's seat, why is the car moving?
Okay, so you're saying the car should not be in drive if there's no one in the seat. And the car should detect that
Yes.
and turn it off.
Yeah. It should keep the brakes applied, or
Right.
it should or like
That makes a lot of
Here's
sense.
a simple one.
Yeah.
You can't turn the car off if it's in drive.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like if you were trying to roll the car, you'd put it in neutral, but maybe there should be like, some extra confirmation. Like, did you intentionally put this in neutral and want the car to be off while, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's such an unusual use case for someone to need for it to have no confirmation that, or prevention of getting into that situation. Like it should just not be possible for most situations. It doesn't make any sense for that to be possible, but there are things we accept in cars that I don't even know why. Like, I mean, the car manufacturers do all sorts of crazy fucking shit with new cars that violate people's expectations that I'm like, well, why don't we have a fucking dead man switch on the car already? Like, for example, like they've got all sorts of different types of ways of changing the shifting.
Right.
They've got one that made it hard for me to drive to some extent is they've got auto braking, whether it's automatic or manual, actually. So have you experienced
I don't know
that before?
what is auto braking. I don't know what that is.
So if you're like on a hill with a manual car,
Right.
if you take your foot off the brake and you've got the clutch in, it'll start rolling back, right? On a lot of modern cars, if you are clutched in and you take your foot off the brake, it doesn't release the brake.
Okay. Well, I'm not familiar with that. That's okay.
Yeah. So what happens is, so you take your foot off the brake. Normally you'd start rolling back and you'd have to get onto the accelerator pretty quick and clutch out to get you not rolling backwards. So what they do is they hold the brake, and then once you start applying some revs and clutch out, that's when it releases the brake. So it's actually holding the brake in until you've made the move necessary for it to start actually going forward. So that's why even if you're like not a very good driver, you can not roll at the stoplight backwards with the manual car. But even on an automatic car, I've noticed the auto braking. So I've been on some pretty steeper gradients, and I've released the brake and the car hasn't rolled back. And I think it's because of auto brake, not because it's right on the edge of the auto being able to hold that position. I think it's because the auto brake is actually being applied. So there's all sorts of things that are happening in there.
I don't know.
The fact
I never
that a
think about
deadly
these things,
situation like
Yeah.
leaving the car.
Yeah. Hey, Biff. There may be a mechanical failure where the car accelerates or when the car accelerates or the accelerator is stuck, and the engine needs to be turned off even though the car shift is not in park.
I think that's fair. I think that situation of stuck accelerators is mostly a myth, but that's fair. I wonder, because like Toyotas were sort of blamed for having this stuck accelerator situation, and I don't recall whether or not people could just turn the car off.
Well, what if you're in someone's in a situation where they're being kidnapped, and the kidnapper is driving the car, and the victim is in the passenger seat or the back seat, and when they take a chance and reach over and turn the ignition off, and then yank the key out, even though it's still in drive.
Well, yanking the key out is
the
like
window.
almost like deadly, because like if they turn the steering wheel a little bit, it'll end up locked. I've seen that happen.
Wow, yeah.
Where someone took the key out and then there's like, and then his steering wheel locked, and yeah. I mean, you're right, Biff, and you would have to take into account all of the potentials and situations. Like, so I think it's okay to turn the car off while it's in motion, because it's already in motion. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
But being able the fundamental of like, I don't care too much about the ignition aspect and the drive aspect. It's just a more common situation. What ultimately really matters is the car shouldn't begin motion if there's no driver.
Right.
Like that's that's very inexplicable. Like,
But now
why
we
do you
have
want the car to
cars
begin
that are
motion without
self-driving without anyone needing to steer it or step on the accelerator. Isn't that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's even more unsafe, but
Yeah. Hurricane. Morty, good morning, Hurricane. Morty, do you feel Watch Reporter should pay Watch Nicholas for hours worked, or do you think Watch Reporter was right not to pay Watch Nicholas since he didn't fulfill the deal and disappeared? I said 2 hours ago when I started the show that it was such a peaceful, serene, early morning show, and I said, but it'll just be a matter of a few hours, and the hate and the attacks will begin. So, Hurricane, you're right on schedule at 5 o'clock in the morning. First First provocative comment of the day. My comment is, I just hope the two guys work it out amicably, and that's all. How's that for an answer?
Well, what's Watch Reporter's claim?
Oh my God! You've got to go to Honest Wash channel. That's his other channel.
What?
Yeah. He has two channels: Watch Reporter, and the other
I
one
don't
is.
think he's only got two, because I think there's another
Oh, you might
one.
have more, but the only two. Well, he's got at least three then. Okay, yeah. His other channel is Honest Wash channel. His avatar is Jesus. Okay, and watch his last three videos. Okay, it's just remarkable, absolutely incredible stuff. Just amazing. But there's a big fiasco between Nick and Watch Reporter.
Yeah.
He may have put the same three videos on the Watch Reporter channel, but I think I saw them on his Honest Watch channel video. So
I don't understand Watch Reporter's strategy.
in
Like,
terms
I
of
don't know what he's doing. Like, I don't know.
in terms of
God.
what?
Like, I don't know who he's trying to attract as a viewer.
Right. Well, yeah.
Like, if like at all, like I don't understand what is I mean, I find his banter funny and
He's the only
at
other
the same
channel
time,
besides the Morty's Diner channel where I'll really just laugh out loud. Every minute there's something. Many times a minute there's something that really makes me laugh out loud. He's very funny, but I don't think. I think less people than those that watch my channel understand or connect with his sense of humor. So yeah. But I don't know what he's doing with his channel. He just talks about the luxury watches and what's a good investment chance and what's not. And
no, but I mean, half the time I think he's like fucking joking out of his mind.
No, that's
like,
true. Yeah.
As in, like, you really think like these like dog shit watches are good, and he calls all the steel watches like tuna can shit, stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
Tomato can shit,
it's funny, but I mean, is that?
Well, he's got
I mean,
that Patek Ellipse. That's an old model with a blue dial, which and he talks about that as a great investment, and it's going to triple, it's going to double. You can buy it now for 11,000 for me because it's going to go to 24,000 easily in another year or two, and things like that. It's very funny the way he tells stories.
Yes.
But,
yeah, I think so. I think so. But I mean, that's a lot of time spent being sarcastic or not. Like, I feel like Green Room is in that boat where ultimately spends so much time being sarcastic that I don't know what's left anymore. Like, I don't like I don't know if there's anything real left. Like, it's just the entire time is spent being sarcastic.
Well, I watch all of the Watch Reporter videos because he's very, very funny. He really makes me laugh.
Oh, okay.
And his references when he's telling a story are just hysterical. Right? Hurricane. I think Watch Reporter should pay his debt. Watch Nicholas did do the shows. Okay, well, that's certainly reasonable. Mikey, those people attract Morty. Shows the Morty proclivities. Oh, I see what you're saying. This is an insult. Okay. Those people, like Watch Reporter, attract Morty. Shows Morty's proclivities. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mikey. Okay. Right. Okay. So,
he spends a lot of time blasting what's his name, the Cuban.
Oh yeah, that Juan somebody.
Yeah, Juan.
I forgot the guy's channel name.
I mean, he like Juan.
It's funny. It's really funny.
It is, but Juan.
I don't know why he
being
picks on
relevant like maybe 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
I when I found out who he was referring to, I looked up that guy's channel. And I thought, well, why is he picking on him? It's just a guy with a channel. What's the big deal? But I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I liked wine for a while, but I mean, if you actually looked at watch prices, you'd realize that his whole channel is a shtick. Where it's like, you know, it's dropping and dropping. And it was fun while it was true, but it wasn't true even in 2023 anymore. Yeah, the prices moved down like 1 to 5% further down from there.
Right.
We're not talking, oh my God, you know, crash again, like constantly. And that's his entire channel for the past, you know, 4 years.
Yeah.
Is just talking about prices crashing, and the prices have not been crashing in the last few years. Like, they haven't been like stellar, but I mean, for sure, my Panda Daytona is still, you know, still priced at, you know, $30,000 roughly, which is where it was in 2022. So it's not.
Yeah, I
it's
think
just a
Watch
little bit
Reporter's
crazy.
latest videos discussed Bitcoin going in the toilet and silver going in the toilet, something like that. I don't recall, but yeah.
Well, but then his investment. Well, I've heard that there's another channel, a Watch Reporter, where in the past or the present, where there's like penny stocks involved.
Yeah, he has. That's the channel that Watch Nicholas appeared on, maybe. But if you watch those 3 videos on Honest Watch channel, his last 3, you'll be totally
Yeah.
caught up to date on that whole story. It's
Okay.
unbelievable. Yeah. And I guess
Yeah.
if you look at Watch Nicholas's channel, he's posting stuff there about presenting his side of the situation. But amazing.
Yeah. So, um,
But if I
yeah.
were in Las Vegas and I bumped into him, if I saw him like you told the story, if how you
Yeah.
saw him at the watch store and you said, "Hey, are you watch reporter?" You know, because you heard him talking or something. You know, I
Yeah.
would have walked up to him as well and introduced myself and you know, had a donut with him or something. Sure.
Yeah, I like him. I like him.
Yeah.
He's very entertaining. And in
Yeah.
person, he's very entertaining. But I
Yeah.
like that kind of person in
Yeah.
general in my life. Like, I always need one sort of asshole around. I
Ah.
really don't mind. Like, in college, I had my best friend was just the biggest asshole. It was hilarious. Life was fun to be around him. And so
Yeah.
I have a lot of time for that.
Right. Okay.
Like,
well,
that's not me, but you know, that's
Yeah,
why it's
yeah,
hilarious
right.
to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
So
you know,
he would be like your George Costanza to Jerry. You know, you
yeah, I
like him,
guess so.
but he's a major asshole. Right.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of.
I do like him. I do find him entertaining, and that interaction I thought was hilarious. Like telling the Rolex people how they should do their jobs, basically, and why he should get a Rolex. I was just
Right.
like,
Very funny.
this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Hurricane, Aussie Expat. Yeah, Morty's right. The story has allegations of slander, libel, alongside crazy back and forths. I don't know why the guy can't just pay the $450, but it's bananas. Yeah, I can't explain it. It's too many details. You just have to watch his last 3 videos. It covers everything in the story,
But
including screenshots from Nick's stuff.
But what's the crux? Like, what's the
6 months ago, Watch Reporter, and I did hear that. I did see that show. He offered Nick on his channel. He's on the Nick channel. He said, "Hey, how'd you like to do some shows on my business channel? I'll pay you like 150 an hour or 150 for a 2-hour show, something like that. And you could do 2-3 shows a week talking about stocks and investments and Bitcoin and stuff." And Nick said, "Absolutely, I want to do that. You know, for 150 per hour or for a 2-hour show." So Nick did 3 shows for 150 an hour each, 150 per show, and he never got paid. And so just recently, within the last several days, Nick posted a message that he sent to Watch Reporter saying, "It's been 6 months and you still haven't paid me. If you don't pay me within 90 days, I'm going to take you to small claims court." So Watch Reporter has been explaining his side, which is tweets. He said, "You just left. I tried to get in touch with you. You never called me back. You disappeared for 4 months. You never replied to my messages or anything. What the hell's the deal?" I mean, it's beyond that, but that's the basic essence of it, kind of. And so now he's saying, he says, "You send me a W-9 and an invoice, which I asked you to do 6 months ago. You send me and a copy of your ID, and I'll PayPal you the money immediately." And this, you're the one who disappeared for 6 months, or something like that. I mean, you have to watch it for the accurate
Right.
thing they talk about. But
Why does
amazing.
he need that much info?
You'd have to ask him.
Yeah.
I mean, he could easily include. Well, I'm not going to get into that, but
Yeah.
you have to just ask him next time you see him around, or watch him on his show. Maybe he'll get into that. But yeah, yeah, amazing. Yeah, but you really don't need that information. You could just put down business expense, the guy's name, and contact. Say I paid him $450 for to be on my show as a guest fee. $450, and that's enough information to do your taxes. If you include who the guest was and phone number and email address, then that's sufficient. But I'm not giving tax filing advice.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I don't. I'm not saying. I'm not implying I know better. I'm just.
yeah.
If
Yeah, it's
I invite a guest for pay to my watch channel on YouTube, say $400, $150, do they need to provide me a W-9 for me to pay them?
yeah. The definitive answer on that would be to ask your CPA.
Yeah. Well,
Because-
I'm just putting it through
Yeah,
Gemini
right.
and see what.
Yeah.
So the limit has been moved up to $2,000. So it's not strictly required.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch these two guys going back and forth this last several days. But
So what does Watch Nick not want to do here, or what's the?
he's saying it's 450 is below any minimum that I need to file a W-9. You haven't paid me in 6 months, so pay me now. And so it's all on you for not paying me 6 months ago. And Watch Reporter was saying, "I tried to contact you and you disappeared for 6 months or 4 months, and you never replied to my email or phone call." But I don't know why he
plausible.
needed to reply to anything, because after he did that first week of shows, all he had to do was send him a PayPal for $450. Say, first week of show encloses $450. Now he also said he wanted an invoice, and which is reasonable. And Nick could have taken 1 minute to type out an invoice and send it to him, and you could have PayPal'd him immediately. So it's a simple. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're providing content for all for everyone to have fun at, I guess, or enjoy the latest disaster. Yeah. Amazing. Hurricane, I don't agree with how both of these guys are handling it, but my viewpoint is Watch Nicholas should be paid for work done right. Oh, also, I just remembered now. Watch Reporter says that he contacted Nick's mom. And I don't want to repeat what he said about that, but if you watch his videos, you'll see what he explains about that. Yeah. And that's really wow, you know. And he threatened legal action, lawsuits, and
For what?
well, you'd have to watch the video. It gets
Okay.
it's really, you know, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Watch Reporter realizes that that doesn't make him look good. Like, it's hard to be sarcastic about failed business interactions, right?
Right. Well, like I said, yeah, I agree. And like I said, I don't know why he just wouldn't have PayPal'd him $450 after the first week. 3 hours done. Here's 450. See you next week.
Yeah. Like I mean,
But he said Nicholas just
I think
disappeared. But
it sounds like, I mean, okay, who cares about what happened in the past? It sounds
Yeah.
like right now, Watch Reporter is putting up roadblocks. Now, in a strictly legal / scammer sense, these roadblocks are legitimate. But you know what I mean by a scammer sense?
Yes.
Like, a scammer is always going to delay. And there's always some excuse, something that they want to push the ball, put the monkey back on the recipient's back.
Right.
This is just, I'm not saying he's scamming here, but this is scammer behavior.
Well, he's also, if one could say, maybe, he's having fun with this situation.
Right. But the thing is, like, this, you can't have fun with this, in my opinion. Like, this is an actual business dealing, and you have to convince other people in the future that your behavior is reasonable.
Correct.
Not you get, and that bar is much higher.
Yeah.
You know, as in being on the receiving end of a scammer, and they put this roadblock. I understand what a scammer would do, and they keep throwing roadblocks and roadblock, and each roadblock seems justifiable to some extent. But if you add the time frames involved, it's just scammer behavior. And a scammer never comes out and says, "I will not pay you." They always just throw the monkey back on the victim's back. Yeah. And so replicating scammer behavior is not good for your reputation.
Yes.
Like, full stop. Like the whole O'Sheen, what's it called? O'Sheen and the guy in Ireland. Geez, why have I forgotten his name? But the whole O'Sheen situation, I mean, O'Sheen wasn't the only person in fault in that situation, but he was the only person behaving like a scammer in that situation. He was the person delaying, making excuses, making noise. You get what I mean? Like, confusing the situation, making videos, gaslighting. The reality was he owed Nico money.
Right.
That was it. Like, that's it. He owed Nico money. It doesn't really matter all these other excuses that you invent that justify the delays and justify, not paying for a time period or whatever. And it was just scammer behavior. And for me, that put him firmly in the scammer territory. He's a scammer in my book for what he did. And even if he fully paid up in the end, that was only because there was a huge fuss and a kick up and blah, blah, blah. And if what it sounds like to me, based on what I'm hearing, the time frames involved, Watch Reporter really just needs to be paying this and shouldn't be making videos about it. This is not comedy / like, unless he thinks his reputation is laughable, then you know what I mean? I can do two things. I can understand that most of your content is sarcastic and comedy and entertainment, but when it comes to money, you can't be making a joke out of that. That's not that doesn't look good on you
Well,
at all.
yeah, I mean, to me, it's as simple as he did the first week of shows. Nick, all he had to do was send out a 1-2 sentence invoice. You know, here's my invoice for appearing on your show. 3 hours at 150 each, 450 total. Name and PayPal, and then he could have just PayPal'd them the same day immediately, and then there's no story. That would I don't know why it just didn't work like that. Loose Tooth, we're talking about Watch Reporter, the Bukiak Chomostani, though. Right. Right. Yeah. Right. So I agree with that. You just had to say to him, send me an invoice, and I'll send you the check right. I'll send you the payment immediately.
Yeah, and considering the amounts, it's not reasonable to say, well, I need to protect myself from the IRS perspective on this one, so I need X and Y and Z. It's just not. It doesn't hold enough water. I mean,
Well,
if we're talking about $30,000 or something, like then we're like, okay, it's understandable. The IRS is not going to allow you to do $30,000 in cash payment to unknown, and your channel only makes like $1,000 for the year or something. Like that makes sense, but
Right.
yeah.
He also said, reporter also said, he's willing to present his case along with Nick to an independent judge, and he'll go along with whatever the decision is. And he said he'll have Curly, hear both sides, and he'll go by Curly's decision. That's what he actually said. Which is
I mean,
unbelievable.
This sounds like all well and good if we weren't talking about money.
Right.
If you've got some tiff between blah 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 or something like that, but if you had an understanding and a contract by own recognition, and you're throwing up these roadblocks, this is just scammer behavior. What Loose Tooth says here is like literally no PayPal, Venmo. Like it's not. Well, I'm doing my taxes at the moment. You don't need this level of detail unless you're
no, that's
audited.
correct. Now Loose Tooth. Yeah. Says, why does Watch Nicholas have to do an invoice? Well, an invoice takes 1 minute to type up. Literally 1 minute, and then you send the email. So that's not even an issue. But, if Watch Reporter wants to have precisely, documenting his, tax forms, then it's certainly fair and reasonable that he gets an invoice from somebody he's paying for services. But it just literally 1 or 2 minutes to type out an invoice and email it. So, I don't find that why that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't be like throwing up these kinds of roadblocks, in my opinion. Like it's just not like if you're doing business with someone, you're trying to solve problems, not create them.
Right.
Like that's just what business is. It's
Good
like
comment.
you're solving problems together. That you're not trying to create roadblocks and so on and so forth. And for the amount of money, it just $450 is not going to get you audited, or it's not inexplicable, even if you do.
Yeah.
Like it just simply isn't. Yeah.
See, Watch Nicholas, you see, Nick, reporter wants a W-9, and he wants a copy of his driver's license or official ID. He also
The ID is crazy. I mean,
and if he just said to Nick, look, send me an invoice, a 1-sentence invoice, and I'll send you the PayPal today, then it would be done. But when he goes into the 1-9 and he wants a government ID copy, and all that, then it's.
Well, I'd say reasonably, Nick is right to not do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And like the W-9 sort of touches close to already being incredulous. The ID is thoroughly incredulous, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
amazing.
but as I said, like I haven't looked at Watch Reporter's finance. Does anyone know what the channel is?
Yeah, it's called. Well, it's public because Nick appeared there and it got out. His other channel is called Wall Street Reporter, and I'm not violating any secret thing here because it's been put out now. People have watched it and talked about it.
Yeah.
The shows Nick did might even be up there on his video page. I don't know.
Jeez. I wonder. I wonder what he's doing. Like, I just like I kind of don't understand. Like the I'll have to view it, but if it's anything like his I don't know. I'll have to.
Well,
view it.
the
I've
videos
heard
on
about
that
it, but
channel
I've
are
never
pretty
viewed any of
straightforward
this.
business talk, pretty straight investment
Is
finance
it?
talk. Yeah, he doesn't do the Biakus, the Chomo Stanny shit and all that. It's just straight
Well, he's doing
investment
stock
talk.
picking. I mean, that's not investment talk. That's just wild bullshit.
Well, I mean, I only watched one episode, maybe a little bit of 2 episodes at the most. So
So what's it? CXAI. Let's see. Let me have a look. So I heard someone say that what he is pushing is like penny stocks, and come on, let's see. Come on, load. What the hell's wrong with CXAI? Equity. Okay. Oh my God, yes. Like, Jesus Christ.
what do you see?
Yeah, it's penny stocks. It's complete. Yeah, complete bullshit, basically. What's the daily volume on this? Like this stock here, CXAI, he did a video on. It's like 18 cents a stock. This is this is nightmare fuel. This is not investing. This is this is you remember Wolf of Wall Street? You said you didn't watch that.
I couldn't watch it. Yeah, I know the story, but I couldn't watch it. Yeah.
This is Wolf of Wall Street stuff. Penny stock, pump and dump type fucking bullshit. So when was this? This was 2 months ago. Jeez, okay, 2 months ago, 6 months. Yeah, and the stock has only gone down. So 2 months ago would bring you into December, and there was a trade at that time, some volume at that time, and it's only gone down. Geez, what's 31 million? Let me have a look. Calc. 31.18. It's like $500,000 of volume 2 months ago. 12/9. When did he make this video? Come on, what's the date? 9/16.
Well, he may be promoting or talking about or suggesting people look at penny stocks. However, he's not telling, like some other YouTubers, he's not telling people to cut their throat, jump off a bridge, or go fucking hang themselves. So, he's nowhere as bad at all compared to many of the other, horrible YouTube people. So.
So, I mean, the way that some of this stuff works with is that there's people who want to get out of their penny stock, and they need to drum up liquidity. So they have influencers go out and tell people that these are good investments so that they can get the liquidity on the order book and dump their stock. So there's always the potential of, a kickback for featuring a penny stock.
You know what I think? Having listened to your analysis right there, I think Watch Reporter should offer you $450 for a 3-hour appearance. to talk about penny stocks. But you'll have to send him an invoice right away.
It would not help his case if I press play on this video and he's trying to tell people to jump into these things.
Right.
Oh my God, it does not help his case at all.
Do you think if you spent $1,000 on a penny stock or $1,000 on Ethereum, one is worse than the other in terms of the risk?
100%, 100%. Like a penny stock is. So Ethereum is a I think like a $50 billion asset.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you include it in the S&P 500, it'd be like number 15 or something like that. And the liquidity is far greater than almost any stock. So yeah, it's like that's night and day. And
So-
most penny stocks, there's not a there. A lot of these businesses don't exist. They're like paper. And
Right.
that's it.
So let me do a follow-up question. Which do you think would have greater risk or disaster? Putting $1,000 into penny stocks or $1,000 into the Haktua coin?
I don't know enough technical details about the Haktua.
Well, I think the Haktua coin was
coin.
suspended by the government or something. It was removed from being, available because it was a total scam disaster. Something like that.
It depends in what phase of the coin's life we're in.
Yeah, right.
But here's the thing. There's a difference between investment risk and being scammed.
Oh, certainly. Yeah,
But
right.
both can end up in the resulting situation of you have less money than you started with. But an investment risk, there was an expected return. With a scam, you thought there was an expected return, but you were always going to lose your money. It's
Right,
not the
right.
same thing. And a lot of people
Yeah.
conflate the difference. It's like, well, what's the difference? You could lose money this way, you could lose money that way. I was like, no, there's no justification for being scammed. Like it's not like, oh, I roll the dice and blah blah blah. That from the victim's perspective, I can understand that reasoning. That maybe yes, maybe no, right? But from the objective perspective, there's no reason for people to participate in scams. And my number one investment objective for people is basically almost everything, all good investments, and I don't mean investments that make money. They can go up, they can go down. All good investments are equal. Bitcoin, S&P 500, Nvidia, Amazon, JJ,
Morty's Diner. Right.
yeah, Morty's Diner. All investments are equal. Like if you do something small, more niche, there's going to be higher risk, but potentially higher return if it does go well, and so on and so forth. But a scam is always negative. There's no reason to participate in a scam. So my advice is always, I don't care what you invest in, as long as you're investing, and avoid the scams. So my number one rule is don't get scammed for investing.
Yeah.
My number one rule is don't get scammed. Because with a real investment, even to lose money, you're gonna live another day. You're gonna keep making those bets, and you being able to roll off the punches actually will lead to success eventually. As in you will keep investing, and you will get the expected return of being wealthy eventually. But that'll never happen if you keep participating in scams. So my number one rule in investing is don't get scammed. My number two rule in investing is don't get scammed. And there's no rule number three.
That's exactly
Like it doesn't matter.
that you don't know it, but that was exactly in an Andy Griffith Show episode from the early '60s. Don
really?
Knotts, Barney Fife has two. He has two prisoners, who they just put in the little jail there, and Barney's acting like a really tough guy, like he's got two big time prisoners, so he's barking out these commands. He says, "Rule 1. obey all orders. And then he goes, Rule 2 here at the Rock. And he can't think of anything to say. He says, always obey Rule 1.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It was hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think it's true. I mean, it's backed by a lot of data and studies showing that in general, there's no alpha out there, as in there's no better investment than another investment. There are different outcomes and different risk profiles, but from a purely risk-adjusted expected return outcome, I don't believe there's any difference between most investments. Like, yeah, I do Bitcoin, but I have a higher expectation of return and extremely high risk. You know what I mean? And certain things about it are not very savory in terms of, like, is it a great investment? Same with watches, same with, you know, all these other things. There's, you know, there's things to be looked at, and in general, and all investment is good. And I don't mean just because they make money. They can lose money. It was still a good investment. Let's be straight up
here, so there's no nothing held from the audience. You invested $50,000 into Morty's Diner, which is high risk, but you own the deed. I had to give you the deed, so if anything, if it all fails, you've got it made back. So
you got a super chat.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Breitling, hello, good morning. Penny stock, pink sheets talk, pump and dump for profit, baby. Right. Hey, Magpie from England, a £5 super chat. Thank you so much, Magpie.
That's sizable.
For my shares in Morty's Diner. Well, you got it. Okay. I'll print up those shares, and fantastic. Thank you, Magpie.
Yeah. So Ethereum is 236 billion, and let's see, SP 500 market cap constituents. Yeah, how big is JP Morgan? Market cap 800 billion. Okay, so it would be a little bit lower than that. Let's do Goldman Sachs. 270. So it's similar market cap to Goldman Sachs.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But Goldman Sachs is a funny one. You don't really want to own the shares of Goldman Sachs. You want to work for Goldman Sachs. You don't want the shares. You know, Goldman Sachs, if you work there, half of their profit goes to their employees.
Okay.
And I don't mean that as a, like, it happens to go to employees, that, like, that's their cost basis.
Yeah.
That's their sort of remuneration policy, is that half of the profit that you make will go to the employees as a form of a bonus.
Well, I do that here at Morty's Diner, but every month we're in the red and there's no change in sight predicted. So, but that's the policy on paper, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I think working for Goldman Sachs is a good idea, but owning
I think
the
you'd
stock,
be great as one of these, radio financial advisors, like, one or two of those famous guys, Dave Ramsey, those kinds of guys, You have a 3-hour a week Saturday satellite show, and
I'm too boring though, as in like I'm not that interested in managing debt, and that's most people. I don't really want to get into weeds with people like Caleb Hammer does. And in terms of investment, I'm a big supporter of just going S&P 500 ETF and don't fucking deviate from that.
And then you could write a book
for me
to go along with your radio show, and the book would also have chapters on investing in the Japanese porn industry for high returns.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I'd love that. I'd love to do that. No, I mean, I've played around with the idea of 15 years ago, I started writing a blog about personal finance, and I started writing. I never published it, so I just started writing articles, and decided like, what would it take to keep writing like this? These days it would be videos for sure, but in general, I don't really want to keep coming up with topics and talking about them. And it's, but you see most YouTubers, they just have a shtick, as in, like, they just keep saying the market's crashing, and they just keep doing every single video is the same thing, what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, I like doing a one and done video, and like I got my 2 cents out there. That's all you need to know. And I do that on my channel. I do have, some videos that are just about, handling the market, psychology of investing. Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Dirk Diggler. You got women, I got more women. I guess so. Okay.
I don't.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
So it's pretty non sequitur for Dirk. He's normally like on topic. I don't. Did you say something earlier in the stream that I might be watching?
Don't know.
Oh, remember how I was lambasting you for Social Security?
I don't remember.
Well, you know my take, that I don't think Gen Z should have to pay Social Security.
Oh, right. I remember that part.
Never see it. And you were saying, well, that's the system. The young people have to pay for the old people. That's the way it is. Did you know Social Security was not introduced like that? Do you understand? Like they got Social Security.
Can you go over that?
Well, so Social Security didn't always exist, right?
Correct.
When they went to introduce it, they introduced it as being a savings plan, basically. That the money would be saved and then it would be there in your retirement to use. It was not proposed to the people and would have been widely rejected if they just said, this is just wealth transfers from young to old. Like it would never. And there's documentation at the time from the president and I think the party, but then they said, this will never fly if we just said this is just a Ponzi scheme. And so they deliberately introduced it as being this sort of like fiscally responsible savings scheme. And 2 years later, they just pulled the rug out from it.
Right. Well, Democrats. Yeah. That's who created it. So.
Yeah. So the idea that this is like good and right, nobody ever was on board with Social Security as it is designed today. Like that never passed muster. And I think that it's an abhorrent situation today that we have young people working to make possible
well, it turned into that because of gross mismanagement.
No. It was a lie from the beginning.
Oh,
like
really?
They knew it was never going to work. That they just simply had to introduce it as if it was fiscally responsible. They always knew that it was never going to work.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll take your word for it. I haven't read up on any of that, so
yeah,
it's believable.
But I mean, it's true for most scams that the government has put out. Like they'll introduce it as one thing, and then
like the
they pull the rug
Obamacare
out of it.
scam, total lie, deceitful lie from the beginning. They knew it was just bogus bullshit.
Yeah, they thought it was a way to put the entire industry and the people into a position where a state option would be inevitable. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, it's like Obama, talking about the shovel-ready jobs. I mean, it's just total lies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dirk Diggler. Morty, you remember Tommy Vu from the 80s, 90s infomercials? I sure do. He was a Vietnamese guy, and his infomercials, he'd be on a boat with surrounded by 3 or 4 bikini supermodel type girls talking about buy his course on real estate investment and you'll be like me. But he talked in a heavy Vietnamese accent, and he was a late night infomercial staple on TV back then. Yeah. Back then, there were also 2 guys. There was another infomercial that was on for years. It was two dwarves, two brothers who were both dwarves, and they surrounded themselves on their infomercial videos with these beautiful women in bikinis, and they had a Rolls Royce that they would be, traveling around with the girls drinking champagne, and they said, buy our course on real estate, and you'll be just like us. Two dwarfs surrounded by Rolls Royces, champagne, and sexy supermodels in bikinis. Those were classic all-night infomercials back then. Yeah. And of course, well, Ronco is a little different, yeah. But, yeah. I actually met Ron Popeil. This is true. And I don't remember at all what we talked about. But I may have asked him, I don't know if I did this, but I may have asked him, do you really use the set it and forget it chicken roaster? I don't remember if I said that or not. But I think he may have said, yes, I do, But I know somebody who bought that set it and forget it chicken cooker thing. And she said it was great. She used it often. She said it's terrific. It really is good, a good gadget. So, but yeah.
The other scam is fiat currency. No fiat currency started with no backing. They all started with gold. Mm-hmm. There was always this promise of gold or silver in exchange for the money. And it was only after certain periods of time that they removed the redeemability. Mm-hmm. So, but no one would ever be stupid enough to accept fiat currency printed out of nothing, backed by nothing, infinitely printable by a single authority or multiple authorities. No one would ever be stupid enough to accept such thing as a form of money. Mm-hmm. But that is the situation we are in. Like they would never accept it on the outset, but it's only after the promises of gold had existed for decades and then the rug pulled that such things come to fruition.
Oh. When did you develop your interest in investment finance topics? As a teenager or later on?
Definitely as a teenager. I always...
So like were you looking into researching about profitability of sheep stations back in Australia back then? And
no, it was always more around personal finance.
Right.
So even in Australia, I must have heard like at an early age, I don't even understand where I would have seen it, but someone mentioned on TV that renting is better than buying. Mm-hmm. Because if you invested the difference in the stock market, you would get a higher return. And that's the earliest like piece of investing and personal finance thing that I can recall. And it immediately introduces you to the idea of looking at historical information, interest rates, investing and investment returns, and so on and so forth. So it was immediately interesting. I remember, I think in 1994, me telling my mum, and I would have been 11, she needs to buy Microsoft stock.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you at the time?
Like 11.
11, wow.
Yeah, that she needs to buy Microsoft stock because it's like everything on the computer, it's like its baseline is Microsoft. It's the operating system. And without the operating system, you've got nothing.
Do you know, did she take your advice?
No. And she would have been a millionaire.
Now, what if she bought, okay, I'll do it just as a joke. And what if she put in $250 at the time?
It would have been astronomical. Let me have a look. Yeah, it would have been astronomical. Now, at the time, I don't think you would have been able to get a brokerage account open and blah, blah, blah. 200. But it would have been possible for my mum. Like, my mum was poor, but she would have, it would be possible. My mum's also frugal and not an idiot. So my mum was never in like
So
huge
if she
amounts of debt or
invested
anything like
the
that.
absolute minimum that she could have gotten a stockbroker to handle for her,
Let's
she
say $500.
500. Okay.
$500 in Microsoft in 1994. How much would that be worth today? Might not be a millionaire. Okay, so got all the stock
Well, it would certainly be
splits.
enough to buy a secondhand Bentley, a secondhand
Okay,
20-year-old Bentley.
$77,000 from a $500 investment.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. 77. The real question is like how much money. Well, I mean, how much money she did invest was zero.
Right.
So we know what the real what the real outcome was.
Right.
The real outcome was zero. That being said, there was a period where Microsoft for like 15 years basically went sideways. So it hasn't been exceptional, but you know, it's been pretty good.
If you went out at 12 years old and got yourself a newspaper delivery route, door to door delivering newspapers, and saved all your money, you could have bought and put that into Microsoft. You'd be, you'd had
Well,
77,000 bonus right now.
The real reason my mum didn't do it is like she wouldn't have even known where to start. Like, I mean, a brokerage account in 1994 in Australia that would have access to American equities, I'm not even sure that existed. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't hold my mum's feet to the coals on that one because it may not even existed, even if she like really tried.
Right. Yeah.
And there probably was like big fees and everything. You know, this was before the late 90s revolution of, you know, low fee internet based brokerages and everything. So, you know, it was just a lot harder back then for sure. Like much harder.
If you were 11 years old today, how would you advise your mom what to buy, what to jump on right now?
If I was what do you mean by that?
Well, let's say you were 11-year-olds today, but you had that same active interest in all the stuff going on with investing. What item out there would you tell your mom, you got to put some money into this now?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So I talked to my son about investing, and I ran through all the options.
And your son is 18 months old, right? You talk to him anyway, right? Yeah.
He's 7.
Oh, okay, right.
And I think his logic would be much the same as my logic in that it's not deeply thought about. Obviously, you're not reading financial statements, but you look at the importance of a company in your life. And I talked to him about most of the top 10 S&P in the S&P 500, and he 100% liked AI, so he really wanted some investment in Nvidia, and he absolutely likes Minecraft, and that's owned by Microsoft, which also happens to have AI stuff too. Which honestly, Microsoft and Nvidia, those aren't bad options right now.
So he said, Dad, what do you think if I sell my gold Daytona and put it into Microsoft?
It's probably a good idea.
Right.
A better idea than holding onto the gold Daytona. That's for sure.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so yeah, I did convince him on Bitcoin, but I think there's just a lot of media about Bitcoin. I think what people forget is everyone's looking at Bitcoin. Like, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that everyone is always looking at Bitcoin more than stocks. No, average people are not looking at S&P 500. Most people I talk to on the stream, and they see me or talk to me, and that they might talk about investment, and just as a topic, like a general, and it's very clear to me they don't know where the S&P 500 is right now. As in, is it up? Is it down? Was last year good? How good was it? Like HR was talking to me the other day, and he was saying 18% is really good. I was like, yeah, but the regular stock market actually did really, really good. You know what I mean? So is 18% actually good? The previous year, S&P 500 was up like 26%. So 18% that's actually a loser in the previous year. Now last year it was actually a winner. So, his mum did okay there. But do you get what I'm saying? Like most people are
it's
simply
either
unaware.
way. It's better than the 1% Wells Fargo gives me on my savings account.
Right. But most
That's a
people
joke.
are completely unaware. Completely unaware. But most people know what the price of Bitcoin is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it like for better or for worse, Bitcoin is the number one financial asset that is on people's minds. Number one. And I realized that when Ethereum got its ETF. So when Bitcoin's ETFs came out, that was gangbusters, most successful ETF of all time.
Mm-hmm.
When Ethereum, number two, got its ETF approved. Now I put money into this. I was buying Ethereum prior to the launch of the ETF, thinking I could front run all of the institutions and consumers that would get into the ETF. And the ETF launches, and the price just goes down. it was, and I was looking at the front page of all the financial websites, and there wasn't a single fucking article on Ethereum getting its ETF launches. While Bitcoin was just like every single day, there's always a Bitcoin article. So it's like people are always like down on Bitcoin, because there's always people down on Bitcoin. There's always people up on Bitcoin, but it's always front row and center of people's opinions of investment and so on and so forth. What I find is most people who aren't into Bitcoin aren't investors at all. Like they just aren't. They're not even investors. They're sort of just sitting on the sidelines, hoping people will be as poor as them someday, somehow. Even though they're not making different investments, they're not investing at all. So, yeah, it is interesting. I think the dynamics of Bitcoin, even when it's going like horribly, like so far in the last 6 months, people are still like, they've got their eyes on it. They're interested. I mean, I don't think the market will finally bottom out until people get disinterested. But who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Is your family up right now?
No. They'll be up in a few hours. They'll have a late start, I think, because my daughter's sick, and I think my son's now sick too, so he should sleep in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you make your breakfast yourself? You have to cook your own oatmeal?
I try not to have breakfast, but recently.
Oh, that's right. You're a
I have
one meal a
been.
day guy, isn't that right?
No, I'll do 2 meals, but I typically have never really done breakfast much. Like I just don't feel like I need it, and so why consume the calories if it's not even satisfying hunger? You know what I
Really?
mean?
So when you wake up, you don't feel like, gee, I want something to eat?
I'll normally need a drink. Like I'll have like a coffee,
Right.
and like I'm good until lunchtime.
Wow.
Now I will have an early lunch, like 11:30, 12 o'clock, but my dinner is around 5 o'clock, 5:30. So
Right.
it's not unusual gap, but I try not to eat after 6 p.m. just because the digestion can interfere with sleep. So
The digestion can interfere with your late night financial calculations.
I don't have that many late nights now. I tell you, that's one of the biggest things about retirement that I've noticed is that nothing I do anymore is stressful. As in, yeah, I'll still have tasks to do and things to do, but I'm never trying to squeeze it between things. You know what I mean? I'm not like,
Yeah, right.
I need to get to the bank, but I need to do it over the next 20 minutes. I need to get back for the meeting and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm never like, I'll do it. It might take-
I gotta get home and get back on YouTube and scream all night at people. Right? You don't have to deal with that.
So it'll probably take the same amount of time, but the precision of when it has to happen just no longer exists. You know, I do it correctly in the time that I have when it's ideal. I don't have to like, you know, keep fucking getting onto meetings and getting work done before a certain meeting and stuff like that. So yeah, I still get stuff done. It's just, and it doesn't necessarily take more time. It's just lacking the need to be precise about the timing means it's just so there's no stress related to any of these tasks. So it's easy. Yeah, it's like retirement's been really, really good.
Have you gotten into screaming matches with your wife because you're home all day now?
No, but I've always been home.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, we've since I met my wife, we've probably only been apart for maybe 30 nights in total.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always
And I want to thank you for those 30 nights you missed.
and like the first few years we had our own business together. And we were traveling Asia, so we were working and living together. Like basically every hour of the day, we would be together for those first few years. Once we came to America, our day jobs took us apart, but we would always come back after lunch. So I would only do a half day in the office or something like that. And so yeah, we were rarely apart. We work well together, basically.
Well, clearly, yeah.
Yeah, and all of our well, most all or most of our pastimes have been things that we do together. Like when I say I like golf, she would golf too, or I like shooting. She's a competition shooter as well.
Oh, really?
So we would like if I can't do it with her, I try not to do it.
Okay, I will not ask you about the Japanese porn. I don't want to intrude. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't consider that a hobby. That doesn't.
No, that's just your whatever. Yeah. I was gonna. No, nothing. Yeah. So, wow. What do you think is companies like DoorDash and Instacart, are they publicly traded companies? If they are, would you have thought when they came out, their ideas when they started, would you have thought, well, these are going to be great things to get into right now and put some money into those?
Absolutely not.
No,
At no point.
really.
Yeah. So DoorDash is public, and so is Uber, obviously.
Yeah.
At no point did I think those were good ideas because the private equity that got them going, they were losing money.
Mm-hmm.
They were losing money, and so why would I put money into such a business? I'm just losing money. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So yeah, and just looking at DoorDash, it's now, what am I seeing? Open 182. So it's 10% below its IPO. Its 5-year performance at 6.7% down, 1-year performance down 16%, year to date down 27%.
Mm-hmm.
6
And with all
months
the
down
business I give them too,
33%.
it's still that bad. Wow. Okay.
Down 20%. Like there's only a little time frame between 2023 to 2020. Yeah, like October of last year, that it was gaining. It went from an absolutely, so there has been a good run and there'll be a lot of people who hold DoorDash that have done well, but they're doing a lot less well. I mean, this looks about as bad as Bitcoin. But at least Bitcoin like started off at zero and has been around for a lot longer. I mean, DoorDash only IPO'd in 2021. I think Uber can't be doing that well. They should be doing okay, but they can't be doing that well. Let's see. I mean, I did put money into Uber and what's the other one? Lyft. Yeah, a little bit after their IPO, and I eventually sold out. I mean, there's some potential. So their 5-year performance for Uber is up 32%. That's that sounds okay, but it's actually horrifying, considering the S&P 500 in the previous year alone went up 26%. So, like, 32% over 5 years is quite bad. Its 1-year performance down 6.6. Yeah, it is not good. Is not good right now for Uber. It's a shitty investment. Is what it is. I mean, the craziest one is Tesla. This Tesla's rarely made sense to me. Like, it is
The story
like,
that just came out.
They're not going to be a car maker.
The story that came out recently that Tesla's leaving California and he's moving to Texas. Is he moving his factory to Texas?
He keeps saying they're leaving California. They keep saying that.
Yeah.
They keep saying it. They keep saying it. It's not true. It's a narrative. Like, for sure, all their new facilities are in Texas, but they're not closing their Californian operations either. So, yeah, it's simply not true. So their 5-year performance 65%. That's not that great. It's not that great. It's not that bad. It's good, but I mean, this is all based on absolute fever dream speculation and fraudulism that Elon Musk pumps out. There's no fundamentals that justify the price of this company. I would think that maybe in 5 years Tesla doesn't make cars anymore, and that goes along with their framing that we're not a car company. I was like, okay, good for you. You're not a car company. The reality is everywhere outside of USA, Tesla is not the number one EV manufacturer anymore, and they're not. I wouldn't even call them a third-rate company in terms of self-driving. Like, they're not even remotely close to third-rate. Like, Waymo's way ahead, and Zoox is way ahead. So there's not a there as best as I can tell. And this whole SpaceX thing is completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
Well, why does he do it then?
No. I don't mean about the activity, but the activity is kind of ridiculous too. But what I'm saying is they're IPOing later this year, and they expect to be worth like more than $1 trillion, and it's just full smoke and mirrors.
So you wouldn't put a token 25,000 into it and just see what happens?
No. Like, I don't need that risk. That's just crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying is, what I said, like, what's my number one rule? Don't get scammed. Everything that I see about Tesla and SpaceX is basically a scam. Like the justifications for its price are all scammy. All right, I think I gotta start getting ready myself. I need that coffee.
Yeah. It's
on a Friday.
6 o'clock here now. Just is it? It's yeah, just after 6. So I'm gonna have breakfast pretty soon and wrap up. Yeah,
All right, thanks, Morty.
you
Good
bet.
chatting to you about guns and business.
Gen 6, that's the way to go.
Well, you could get an M18. That's a P320 or for safety if you wanted a safety.
Oh, right, yeah. But I was in terms of Mass Ayoub's
If you were to get a Glock.
video. That's
Yeah. But yeah, the last thing I'll say about Glock that isn't true of any of the other guns is they're basically Rolexes. As in, they're mass produced commodity, but they actually hold their value.
Mm-hmm.
And they're extremely liquid. If you
Oh,
buy
sure. Yeah.
a stock Gen 6 Glock 19, you'll have no trouble selling that if you ever wanted to.
Right.
But the thing about getting it as a carry gun, you're going to buy all this other stuff that doesn't have any resale value. Like you need a holster, you need a quality holster.
Yeah.
It sort of just destroys the value argument, which means maybe a Canic is the way to go.
Well, I'm supplied sufficiently, but I just I always keep looking at stuff anyway. But I those Turkish companies like Canik and there's a couple others that are really getting a foothold in the U.S. market. I just don't want to buy Turkish products. I mean, outside of cotton towels, I really I don't think they're a great friend to our country.
I actually have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a secular country, right? No, predominantly Muslim,
well,
but secular.
yes,
I have
but
no idea, like what you're referring to. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just have no idea.
yeah, I just maybe I'm completely wrong, but I just would rather support other companies. I mean, other countries' products, like I don't know, whatever.
That's fair enough. I mean, I only buy American.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to support American manufacturing of firearms because
Well,
there's
like
so
Japan,
much that
for
they could-
example, I think the leadership of Japan is much friendlier to the U.S. than Turkey,
Right.
long term and right now as well.
Yeah. Well, my buy American stance has nothing to do with like other countries, and it's more to do with gun rights in America.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
only a local company is deeply tied to the American civilians' interests in the Second Amendment, in my opinion. Like all these foreign companies, they just want to make a buck.
Sure.
They don't give a shit. So the reason the whole Glock Gen V came out was because they were kowtowing to California.
Yeah.
Like that's just pathetic. You know what I mean? So I don't like Glock from that perspective. Now, would I burn them? No. I think Gen V is pathetic, but they're not in the territory of like they should be burned. Like in my opinion, Springfield is burned, but yeah.
Yeah.
Although
Well,
it does
alrighty.
look like they're making some Canics in America.
Uh-huh.
I think.
A lot of the video channels I have, unless they're involved with Canik, they like all the ones that they use on their videos. I don't mean Such, who likes everything, but other channels as well.
There are now Canic pistols made in USA.
Mm-hmm.
The Canic Mete MC9 Prime is the first US made model. So there are Canics made in USA. So I think that's awesome. That's cool. That's the only reason I wasn't looking at Canics before is because they weren't made in USA, but they actually do have new lines that are made in USA.
Right. Great. All right. Terrific.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Catch you
Aussie.
later.
All right. See you later. Bye-bye. Wow. Another great appearance by Aussie Expat. Pretty great. All right. So 3-hour show. Incredible. I had no idea I'd do a 3-hour show. So everyone, I'm going to wrap it up. But don't fret. Starting soon, there'll be a full day of hate content for everybody's pleasure and enjoyment. And yeah, in fact, it may already be on now. People may be over there screaming and yelling already. So you have a lot to look forward to today. Yeah, and I do recommend or suggest, if you're not up on the latest, go to the Honest Watch channel. That's Watch Reporter's other channel, Honest Watch channel, and watch his last 3 videos. Unbelievable. Or as he would say, unbelievable but true. Just incredible. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks everybody for watching. Good night to the lurkers. And the sheep. Thanks for watching. And see you all soon. Good night.